Alright. Got some people coming in very slowly. Starting a little early. How is everyone doing out there in the astronomy world tonight? As we are on one more time. 13th night in a row. I promise we won't keep you on too late tonight. I'm only looking at about an hour stream tonight. Not looking like a 4, 5, 6, 7 hour stream like we've done in the past over the last few days. It is cloudy out here, so we are not getting anything that is astronomy. But, as you can tell from the top right of the screen, we're going to be processing M63. And you ask, well, what is M63? Well, that is the sunflower, and that's what we got last night. And I was pleasantly surprised at what we got. I was pretty happy with it. Now, we shot it with 2 cameras. The one with the QHY didn't pull out much detail on it. Even I was shooting 20-minute exposures, we didn't get much. We'll still stack it and see what we get, but I'm not making any guarantees. But with one with the meade, that was good. That was good. I think I got, oh man, I probably did, it was 4 14-minute images. And I know I took 13 total. About 2 hours. About 2.5 hours of exposure time I got, which is nice. So that was really, really good. 2.5 hours. We started off with 7-minute exposures, and then we went to 14 because I realized that guiding at that point was doing really, really, really well. So we figured, why not? Let's increase that exposure as much as possible. With the one with the QHY, we started with 10-minute exposures, and we went to 20. And there was no star drift, which was quite incredible, to tell you the truth. So we're just waiting just a little bit. I like to start about 8 minutes early, so this way everybody gets that notification. For some odd reason, some people aren't getting the notifications. I don't know why. Make sure you're checking the bell. Make sure that you're hitting the bell to show all, and it's not personalized. So make sure you hit that bell and make sure you get it the right way, so in case if I go live, like I did last night, by the way. Last night, I went live and didn't create a link, didn't create anything, just went live at 9 o'clock and didn't tell anybody. But that's okay. Where we stand and what we're going to be doing from here on out, as I was talking about it before. For the next 2 weeks, 8 o'clock, that's when I go live, if it's cloudy. Alright? Eastern time. You can adjust it accordingly. If you're in the Central time, it's 7. Mountain is 6. Pacific is 5. For all my wonderful friends overseas, across the Atlantic, you'd either add 5, 6, or 7 hours, or even as far as all the way out to China, Japan, and Australia, you're going into the next day. But you most certainly plan accordingly, and we'll be good to go. Now, that is on cloudy nights. Now, on clear nights, for the next 2 weeks, we'll be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That will change on May 1st. May 1st, we're going to bump it to 9:30. Naturally. Because, well, it gets darker later. Figure. So May 1st, will be 9:30. And we'll be doing that for about 3 weeks. And right around Memorial Day, we'll be flipping it to 10 o'clock start. And then right around the summer solstice, it'll be 10:30 start. And then it'll go revert back. So again, just to let you know, now when things start to settle down, okay, and we all go back to work and we all get out of this quarantine, the days that I'm off, I'll be running a show. Pending anything that may happen. I don't know. But pending anything that may happen, that's what I plan on doing. But I will let everybody know well in advance. I should have my shows up for the next month and a half. I want to start putting out the schedule so this way you can start getting yourself reminders. That was the biggest thing that I've always wanted to do, was get a schedule so you know when I'm going to be on. So with that being said, it is 7:56. Let's get her started. Just wanted to get that out of the way. And greetings to everyone that is out there right now. We got a few people that are just coming on in, a few people that are lurking, which is fantastic. So let's get it started. Welcome. We're going to flip it to Deep Sky Stacker. Alright. So you can see the images up at the top. Alright. And you can see all the images that we took. Now, it says Comet on there. I halfway through I realized that I put the wrong label in. But trust me, it's not the Comet. Don't worry. Not the Comet at all. But we took a bunch of images, which is nice. And I've already stacked these to see where we are. But again, I took a few 14-minute exposures, and then also took a bunch of 7-minute exposures. So let's get this going. We'll pick the best image that's on here, which is this one right here. And I can go through them, and you can look, and you can tell which one is the 12, and which one's the 14, and which one's the 7. Alright, so these are all the 14 ones, and then it's going to start getting dark right about here. Probably won't really notice it too much. But these are all the images here. Okay. So we'll go back up to the top one. And that's the one we're going to do. Now, here's the other thing too. I didn't realize this till about, I don't know, 6 o'clock today. And realized that I don't have any calibration frames for this. Because I flipped the cameras. I originally had this mono camera on the Meade 61mm. And I flipped it to the 80. And then had the QHY on the 80 and flipped it to the 61. Well, you can't take calibration frames when it's a different optic. Oops. But it's okay. We're still going to stack it anyways. I looked at it earlier and it looked phenomenal. So, with that being said, well, let's stack it. Here we go. So how's everyone doing out there tonight? We got Tanya, we got Mirad. Is there anybody else on there? Probably just lurking, which I can completely understand. it is going to just go right through. It's already halfway through registering the pictures, and then it is going to stack them all together. Alright, so now it is just about done with registering, and then it's going to stack them. Now, a little bit of information on the sunflower. Of course, as we all know, it is M63. M means Messier. Okay. It is an 8.6 magnitude, meaning 0 is the middle ground, -27 is the sun. Venus, which is out, I can't see it, but it's out now. That is right around -4 to -3, which means it's very, very bright in the night sky. A full moon would be -11. When you start doing the dim objects, Pluto is +14, so it goes from negative to positive, 0 being like Vega. Vega is like a 0. One of the brighter stars in the sky would be Sirius or Sirius. That's -1. Procyon is another bright star. Vega is another bright star. Those ones you'll be able to pick out in the night sky. More info on it. It sits at 29 million light years away, so a lot of people have said in many streams that when you're looking at it, you're looking at it in the past, which is really cool. Right now, currently, it rises at 3:10 p.m. and sets at 11:04 a.m. If you're looking at it for the sky, if you're looking at it for right now, where it is, if you want to plug it into a telescope, I know it might be dark where you are, who knows? Right ascent would be 13 hours, 16 minutes, and 43 seconds. Declination is plus 41 degrees, 55 arc minutes, and 28 arc seconds. Its color index is plus 0.71. And its absolute magnitude is -21.178. And what that means when it says absolute magnitude, that is if you were close to that star, that is what the magnitude would be. And its diameter is 100.7 thousand light years, or 30.7 thousand parsecs. And the image is done. Just like that. So now you've got your nugget of wealth, of knowledge, which is always fun, because we love that kind of knowledge. Alright, so the image is done, and you're looking at it, and it's very, very bright. Very bright. But that's okay, because now we're going to work on the histogram. We've done this many times with our processing parties, that even you guys can do it now, which is super cool. Now, it looks gray for the histogram, which is right here. Looks gray, but it's 3 colors. We're going to move it. I have them linked. So we're going to move them over. Get it to right about where that is there. Go to luminance. We're going to bring that S curve just a little bit more. Bring that middle of the S right where the histogram breaks. Bring that all the way down. And give us a little bit of highlights, because I like putting highlights on there. And hit submit. And there it is. And you can see the central core, which is right there. And then you can even get the outer edges of the galaxy, which is really, 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 really nice. And this turned out really well. The guiding was so good. The star was pinpoint. Focus was extremely good. We can make it a little bit darker just by going just a little bit over there. So we'll make it just a shade bit darker. But that should be really, really good. And that is perfect right there. You can even get the wisps on the outside and everything there, which is nice. So now we're going to save the image. Alright, so now we have saved the image. And again, there's a little bit of lines only because I don't have calibration frames for this. I will do the calibration frames in the next 24 hours. And then I will work on this even further and post it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. Even here, I'm still waiting. For anybody who's 1,000 subscribers or not, I'm still waiting for my community tab. Where is it, YouTube? Where's my community tab? So I can post my pictures when I'm done. I don't have it yet. Apparently it takes a week, I guess. Alright, now I'll pull up a Photoshop. Pulling up the image here. Now, there's going to be a ton of dust motes on this image. I'm just going to make you guys aware of that. The camera sat in the bedroom for a very long time. So the dust motes are on the camera. They'll go away. I'm going to be getting rid of those, but there's a lot. So what I did was I positioned this object away from the dust motes. I thought it was on the telescope. It was not. It was on the camera. So, yeah. But I'm going to be cleaning those off this week. We don't need to worry about that. We just need to worry about the image, which is right there. How amazing. Alright, so we made a brand new copy of that for the layer. I'm going to use Gradient Exterminator. Alright, didn't do much. That's it before, and that's it after. Makes it gray. Gonna make the stars a smaller. And by the way, if you're watching this on delay, or if you're watching this live, I wish you guys a happy Easter. And hopefully everything was happy and fun. In these trying times, you have to have social distancing. But hopefully you guys had fun, which is good. That's the most important thing. Alright. And that is done. So again, the difference between stars smaller and the stars smaller. So nice. The next thing is the space noise reduction. And she did. She most certainly did. Alright, so now we're doing the space noise reduction right now on this. Just going through all the wonderful steps. Samira, nice to see you. Nice to see that you came in. And now we're doing the deep space noise reduction. Alright, and now that is done. Okay, so now we're going to be able to see the difference between it before and after. Okay. And naturally we're going to blend in the layers with the new one. And I'll show you that. Okay, and then we're going to do enhanced DSO, which again, this one takes the longest. But that's okay. And a relaxing day, which is nice. Yeah, this one takes a little bit, but that's okay. We got time. Now it's just doing the minimum filter now. Running through that. So what it's just doing is it's taking screen layers and just putting one on top of the other and then subtracting the background. And who's tired out there, by the way? Raise your hand. Yeah. Just about done with that. We also got, which is really nice, is the wide field. I took over 166 frames of wide field last night too that I haven't even touched, haven't even gone through yet. So I don't even know if we even got a meteor or not, or shooting star. I have no idea. Hang on, getting a phone call. Hang on 1 second. Yes. Hi. Yes, I'm streaming as we speak right now. Yes. Yeah. See? I'm streaming right now. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, everyone. Alright. I had a phone call. Where's my assistant? Well, my assistant is actually on that call right now, so I'm going to wait for her to come back. But, yeah, she's... My family called. So, yeah. Because it's Easter, you know? And they called while I'm streaming. But yeah. This is the wonderful image. This is M63. And this is without any calibration frames or anything. I think it looks phenomenal. Now let me zoom out a slight bit. There we go. And there's a dust mote, and that will go away when I take the flats. And Joe asks, where are the aliens? I cut for aliens. Well, there's no aliens, unfortunately. So now the next one we're going to do is we're going to flip it back to Deep Sky Stacker again. And then we'll do the other one. What would it look like on your 8-inch? It would look phenomenal, Ron. It would absolutely look phenomenal in an 8-inch. Even with a DSLR, I think you would still get a ton of detail. The scopes that I'm using is an 80mm, which each inch is 25.4 millimeters. So it's about 3.5 inches. So the scope that I'm using compared to what you have is half, which means you're going to get a more magnified view, which is nice. And I think you would get a pretty amazing view. Now, your tracking would have to be really good. Now, where the sunflower is, it's just a little bit to the right of the whirlpool. The whirlpool sits just off the star of where the Big Dipper is. So if you can imagine where the Big Dipper is, in the handle, the last star, okay, you move to the right of it. And that's where it is. Okay? The last star is called Alcade. You move over just a little bit to the right, M51, move over a little bit to the right from there, and that's where the sunflower is. And it's small, though, too. And what's good about Stellarium or any programs that you can find that are astronomy programs, you can actually be able to input your information for the camera that you're using, or if you want to put it in for the scope that you're using. As long as you know your focal length and your aperture, then you'll be able to see it in real time, which is really nice. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the ones from the QHY. Again, they're not going to be fantastic. Alright, so these were 20-minute images. And we'll do a region of interest. Okay, we'll check all. Again, I don't have calibration frames for these ones either, which is lovely, but that's okay. And Ron, actually, when I'm done with this, I'll pull up Stellarium and I'll show you exactly where it is. I'll show everyone where it is in the sky. Alright? So what I'll do is I'll make it a little bit bigger here. Right there. So that way it'll be in the middle of the screen. Register. Do the star number detection threshold. See where that is. we go. Alright, so now it's just going to register them and stack them. Now with this one I took 3 20-minute images, so that is 1 full hour. And then I took 10 10-minute images, which is another 100 minutes. So, I took a lot. I took a lot of exposures with this one. And yet, I didn't pull out any sort of detail around the outer band of the galaxy, which is quite surprising. And tracking was so good. We were at 0.15 pixels, which is incredible. And when the night was over last night, when we were all done and everything was all ready to, you know, for the stream, I was all done, I decided to stay out a little bit longer and tried a 2,000 second exposure just to see what it would look like, and there was drift. I know, darn. Which is a 33 minute, just 33 plus, 33 minute exposure just to see what it would look like. And it was drift. I probably could have maxed out at 1800. That would have been the absolute max before I would have gotten star drift. And Chris, you're just so jealous. Hey, all you gotta do, and I'm telling you, the easiest way to do it is to go on your phone and get Sky Safari, or you can use Stellarium, or use Anywhere. There's even a Polar Line app on your phone, and you can find out exactly where Polaris is. Now, with the Polar Scope, remember, the Polar Scope flips it, so remember that. So when you're looking at it on your phone, it'll show Polaris, like right now to the second. Polaris is on the left-hand side of that circle, okay? But when you're looking at it through the Polar Scope, okay, it's going to be on the right-hand side. So just remember that. And get it just right. And I use a camera, so I can adjust it without it trying to crick my neck and go back and try to find it and do all that other stuff. I have a camera it's a Microsoft LifeCam 1080p. It is just sensitive enough where you can actually pick up Polaris. And it would be just amazing. What? But with the equatorial mount would be good. Yeah. Well, Ron, you gotta remember, the mount that you're using right now, you have a heavy scope. That's the thing. You have a very, very heavy scope. It's an 8-inch. And I'm guessing it's the one that came with your scope. You might be better off, and a lot of people have said it already, where you'd be better off going and getting the advanced the AVX is what you would definitely get. And with that, you should be fine. You shouldn't have any problems. Trying to zoom in here. There we go. Now again, this is not going to be as spectacular. Just for some reason, I couldn't pull out any detail with this. Focus was not horrible. By the way, I have in the AccuFocus coming in the mail. Should be here tomorrow. So that way now I can run the cords and do the actual focus from inside the office instead of running back and forth. I can actually do it from here and not have to worry. That's coming soon. And Chris, you use PoleMaster. I tried to use PoleMaster. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't figure it out. I mean, Pullmaster, I mean, I guess if you know what you're doing, it's good. But I know with mine, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, you've got some detail. I mean, it's there. Did I say closures? Joe, what do you mean by that? Well, yeah, it'll track it. You shouldn't have any problems with it. We've been driving around, singing songs way too loud because we wanna. But you gotta remember, here's the thing with you, Ron, okay? It's a small object, okay? And on top of that, you're magnified so much, which means you have to get a guide scope. You have to. You have no choice. If you don't do a guide scope, you're only going to be limited to about 25 to 30 seconds before the stars are going to start drifting. So you have to get a guide scope. And guide scopes, they're pretty cheap, Ron. They're very, very cheap. You can get one for about $60, $70. It'd be a meade 8x50 is what it's called. Little tiny scope. Can't go wrong with it. And then you just get a little monochrome camera, stick it right on the back of it, and then you hook it up into your mount. There's going to be what's called a guide port. Plug that in and use PhD. Well, Chris, what I could do is I'll help you. Yes, and happy Easter out to everybody. Kimmy, Ron, Astro Live, Astro Game Channel, Joe Brown, Samir, I don't know if you're still on, Tanya, Murad. It's a wonderful Easter. And Ron, what I'll do is I'll have a conversation with you later, and I'll be more than happy to help you in everything that you need done. Trying to pull out a little bit more detail, but I just can't get the outer bands with this. And this is like almost 3 hours of exposures, and I still can't pull anything out. I don't want to blast it out, but man, I can't. Yes. An achromatic refractor is your best bet. Now the thing is, remember, don't get an achromatic. A lot of people make that mistake. They go, oh, I'm going to go get an achromatic because it's cheaper. Don't do it. Because what happens is when you get an achromatic, it's not a double lens. The light does not meet at the focal point. Okay? You're going to have green meet in one spot, and then red and blue meet up at the other spot. Hence, that's why when you start taking images from an achromatic refractor, you're going to get what's called purple fringing, or bloating. No, it didn't eat Easter dinner. No, it's not full. But it's bloating, and that's why you get those purple stars, because the red and the blue don't meet with the green. So that's why you want to try to get a doublet or a triplet glass, an apochromatic refractor. That's what you want. They're more expensive, but sometimes bigger is not always better. People think, oh, I gotta go get the 10-inch scope, I gotta get the 8-inch, I gotta get the... No, you don't need to. There's no point. I'm gonna save this, and then we're gonna see if we can pull out detail here. Can't make any guarantees, but we're gonna try. Alright, now we'll flip it. We'll flip it to Photoshop. I know, there's like no different. There's like no comparison between these two. It's crazy. Yeah. you know, then that's the thing. They might seem like it's a great deal, and it's like, oh my god, a refractor, $300. Oh, this is great. Let me, you know, buy this, and then you get it, and then you put a camera on it, and then it looks like junk. I've seen it. I've seen it many times. By the way, there actually is a galaxy right here too. If you look very carefully, right there's a galaxy right there. And it's on the other one too. If I were to pull up the other one, or take this, you can actually see both of them now. If I were to go back to this, I don't know if it's going to show up. Yeah, we should be good. There's that there. The galaxy sits right down here. Right there. There it is right there. And that galaxy that's sitting there, it's a 14th magnitude galaxy? Yeah, 14.8. It's UGC 8313. That is the name of the galaxy that's sitting right there. That little tiny speck. That's that little speck right there. Crazy, huh? Absolutely crazy. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom out. Now there's not many dust motes on this one. It's just really bad on the other one. I have air cans that I can just spray that dust right off. It's not smudges or anything, it's just dust. They sat there for so long. Like inside the telescope, they sat there. So it's very possible that it just got dust on them. But that's okay. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do HLVG because it is a colored image. As much as it doesn't seem like it, it is a colored image. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of that black outline. And Chris, you have the Orion ED80 apochromatic, and that's a great scope. That's one of the ones I was thinking about getting, and then I went with the William Optics Zenithstar instead. And 24/7 live Arizona skies, welcome! Biggest piece of junk in a... Oh boy. Well, yeah, Ron, because you got 12 inches of snow. The darker circles, those are what's called dust motes. Anytime you get dust in the optical train, what it does is it increases it. It makes it look super big. Well, my equipment sat here for over a year without me even touching anything. So, yeah, I should have taken better care of it. But again, it's just dust motes. I have air canisters. What it just does is you just spray it, and what it does is it's no moisture, no nothing. It just blows all that off the camera. That's all. It's not the scope, because I flipped them thinking it was the telescope, and it wasn't. So I don't have to worry about that. Exterminator. There we go. So now it's a flat image. So if you look carefully, you can see that's without Gradient Exterminator. That's with Gradient Exterminator. That really helps the image out tenfold. You can really see it. Alright, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make stars smaller. Yeah, that's true, Kimmy. Very, very true. And 24/7 live at Arizona Skies. Did see your name is Gary? Gary, it is nice to meet you. My name is Chris. Happy Easter, Gary. Alright, so what it's doing is we're getting rid of the background. And then when I'm done with this, I'll pull up Stellarium. I think when I'm doing the enhanced DSO, I'll pull up Stellarium. Alright, we're doing the enhanced DSO now. Alright, pulling up Stellarium as we speak right now. I don't know. You most certainly can ask him. So we're loading Stellarium at the same time now, so give it about a minute or so. Again, this is the one that takes the longest. Even if you have a fast processor or fast RAM, it still takes the longest out of all the steps because it's going through hundreds and hundreds of steps. So it's taken a while, which is fine. We got time. And if the time lags, it's okay because it's running through a process and the network gets a little tiny bit bogged down, so it may skip a second or two, but for the most part the internet runs really, really well. And by the way, we fixed the internet here too, which is phenomenal. We're running Cat 8 cables now for both laptops, and we're running the top internet that Spectrum provides. Alright, so while that's loading, see if I can pull up. I'm going to pull up Stellarium. See if I Stellarium. There it is. Oh, bam, there it is. There's Stellarium. Okay. I don't have any grids or anything on here. I haven't really had a chance to really put anything on here. But what I can do is I can put this on. Put exoplanets. Ooh, exoplanets. Ooh, so much fun. But I already know based on where it is. So this is the Big Dipper right here. So you have the cup, or the bowl, the handle. This again is L-cade, which that's the end of the handle. And then we could zoom in, okay? And then you can start to see the whirlpool sits to the right of it, and the pinwheel sits to the left of it, which we will be getting the pinwheel in the next coming nights. Hoping. And then the sunflower sits just to the right of that. And then if you wanted to go a little bit higher, you can go to the croc's eye. That's another good one. But if you want to see the picture, I don't know if it has a good picture for Stellarium. I know it does for Starry Night. Oh, it does. Okay, good. We can center it. There we go. So that's it right there. And then what I could do, I can move this over. And it's got all the information too, which is nice. You can see like the bright star there, and then there's the line of stars which is there, which is really, really cool. that. And then we got my image. Wow. Oh boy. Loads of fun with this one. I mean, we got detail. I mean, it's there. It's just, it's not what I wanted it to be for that. So I'm glad that I have the meade camera, which is a monochromatic camera, and that one is pulling out some detail. Save the day. Let's put it that way. Definitely save the day. Alright, now then what we'll do is we'll do the levels. But it is a flat, I mean, that's a nice flat image. And it's really good, just not the greatest. Compared to the other one, because you can look at this one, again, this one's in color, the other one is not. That's a big dust mote. Big dust motes. What I could do, just move this over just a little here. Trying to get it over so that way I can use this one. There we go. And I can try to see if I can pull up Stellarium at the same time. There we go. So then you can see the detail. I mean, it's there. Oh, you do have the next image 10. Well, that's pretty cool. I had the 5 for a long time, and then I sold it. But I had the 5, and I loved it. And I took a lot of planetary images. And yeah, Gary, you have the next image 5. I loved it. And I keep hearing that the 10 has a more sensitive camera. So, yeah. And actually, what I could do is with this one is get rid of that. And again, that's the original. Now, that's pretty good. And what's cool about this is you can get there's the dark lane, which is right there. You could just see it right there. That dark lane is the dark lane for Stellarium, which is right here. This is this dark lane. You can see it, and it's prominent. If I would have taken probably, I would say about another hour or so for exposures, I probably could have pulled out a little bit more. Or if I would have taken flats and darks, which I will be doing that tonight. Now, here's the big question. Now that I have some people on, and Chris, maybe you might be able to help me, Astro Game Channel. If you had a choice to pick luminance, red, green, and blue, or hydrogen alpha, oxygen 2, oxygen 3, and sulfur 2, what would you pick? So I'm in a position right now where this is for the monochrome camera. I want to get color for this. So what would you think? I know that right now the 3 for hydrogen alpha, sulfur, and oxygen is going to be more expensive. That I do know. But for the luminance, red, green, and blue, that one I can change a monochrome camera into a colored camera. Because what's happening is for everyone else, like Ron and Kimmy, and I have a hydrogen alpha filter, but it's a photo. It's a viewing hydrogen alpha filter, not an imaging one. So I could use that. What I'm saying is, if I wanted to go with the set, what would you do? Would you get hydrogen alpha, oxygen 3 or sulfur, or would you just get the 4 other ones? Because I don't know. I'm going to give myself some time, because here's the other thing, too. And, of course, this is another ordeal that I have to figure out, too. Is I have a filter wheel. And the filter wheel is manual. Which means every time I want to try to change a filter, I have to go out there and change it myself. Now, is it a huge deal? Not really. It's not the end of the world. I don't have to, but it's one of those things that I would like to have the convenience of having a motorized filter wheel. And I really don't want to spend money on a filter wheel when I already have one here with me. So I've been doing research to try to see if you can actually make a filter wheel. And I have it actually sitting here right in front of me, actually. What I could do. Here. Let me do it this way. I don't even know. How do I do this here? Oh, here it is. Okay. So that's me right now. Hello there. What? I have the video on. Get out of here. Get out of here, weirdo.
Oh, there's a video?
Yeah, because I'm trying to show everybody.
So they see me?
No, they don't see you right now. This is the filter wheel right here. Okay, so this is the Bright Star filter wheel. Alright. But it's not motorized. That's the problem. So we might have to figure that out. Alright, Kenzie, come in now. I got the video off. Bill, everyone's asking about you. Come here. Because we got 7 people on.
Oh, don't say hi to 7 people.
Well, yeah, because they were asking.
I'm just gonna say hi to them and I'm gonna go back.
Well, they were asking. They were like, "Well, where's your assistant? Because we got so many people on right now." Because we got
14 once.
Well, I did have 14 once. You're right. I did have 14 once. Hold on. Let me just move these two. Move that one over.
How many views do you have on this video?
I don't know.
97?
I don't know.
1,000? 100,000?
I don't know if I have 100,000 or not.
Yes, you do. You have 100,000 on this video. 1 million trillion billion.
Okay.
Billion. Can
So,
I say hello?
yeah, yes, that's what I've been asking you. So Astro Game Channel.
Hello, Astro Game Channel.
That's his name is Chris.
Oh, Chrissy.
No, it's not Chris. No.
Christoph.
No, it's not Christoph.
They
Stop.
typed his name wrong once.
I know. Yeah, for my name, right.
They did Christoph.
Yeah. And then there's James from Australia.
Hello, Jamie.
It's not Jamie.
James from
You remember, some people don't like to be called those kind of names, so you got to remember you can't do this, especially over the internet. Okay. So there's James, Ron.
Hello, Ron.
You know who Ron is.
Yeah, I know Ron.
Yeah. Gary's from Arizona. Gary has been. He's from Arizona. He actually has a Next Image 5, which is really cool. Okay, and then there's Kimmy.
Hello, Kimmy. And then short, and for maybe your nickname, I don't know if it's your nickname's Kim, maybe.
I'm thinking you're right.
Yeah.
Now Murad was on, but I don't know if he's lurking.
Hello, Murad.
Same thing with Tanya. She's probably lurking. And Samir was on earlier.
Smeary.
So there's a lot of people. James says good day.
Hello, Jamie. James.
So
James from
from Australia.
From Australia?
You should ask him, James, how is the weather out there where you are? You should ask him.
How's the weather out there? Because it's nighttime for us, and is it raining?
No, it's not raining here, but
Well, it said it would rain.
Yeah.
Daddy, I gotta go.
Well, I know you gotta go. And now she's gone. Just like that. As fast as she came in, she is gone.
Yep.
And she's gone. And she wants, and then she leaves. Who knew? Why not? She likes space, and there's nothing wrong with it. She likes space, and it's cool. Oops. So yeah. Well, nice and sunny with no clouds. Phenomenal. Hopefully it'll be nice at night too. That'd be really cool. That would be really awesome. So again, this was just a short stream, about an hour. Just again, wishing everybody a happy Easter. I know, James, Easter's already over for you. We're already into Monday for you. But just to say hi. And just to see how this image turned out. Which I think turned out pretty darn awesome for the sunflower. And I'll work on it with calibration frames, and again, I'll put it up there, and I'll get that background to pitch black, and you'll see that, and it'll come out. But I think that turned out really well. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I don't really have much more really going on. Just everyone have a great night. Unless if somebody else has something else for me. Because I'm going to be doing some research tonight on a motorized filter wheel. And also see what filters I can find. Well, James, what were you trying to get? Now, James, do you have pictures? I mean, do you do imaging, or do you just do viewing? Because I'll tell you, I would love to post your work if you do anything. You know, if you have, you know, because you live in Australia, so you have the southern skies. And Gary, you're from Arizona, so I would love to see your work if you do anything. If you have the next image 5, I'd love to see, you know, if you're doing planetary. I mean, I would love to. That would be amazing. And Astro Game Channel, I love your work. I love what you do. I mean, you're absolutely phenomenal. You usually do visual, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's just go for just a couple more minutes, and then we will end the stream for tonight. Now, where we have planned for the rest of the week, it is not looking clear. Looking clear for the next foreseeable future. So, really, there's not much new content that I'm going to be putting out over the next few days. But I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know. Tomorrow we're supposed to get a nasty windstorm. That is going to be coming through at about 10 a.m. tomorrow. So we won't be getting much over the next 2 to 3 days. I'm just checking the weather right now to see what we have. So James, you have a ZW ASI 290 planetary cam. That's actually a really good one. I never stack stills or have yet anyway. Well, you guys deserve it. That's why. Because I've been following you guys. I watch. And it's not about me. And that's the best part. You know, a lot of people, when they stream, it's about them. It's about you guys. I want to see more work. I want to see what you guys are doing. If it's clear, I'm hoping this summer, I'm hoping to bring you guys on with me, and I can share your work while I'm streaming at the same time. And actually have a real star party. You know, James, if you're out one night or something, if you have a planetary cam, and you got Jupiter out, or you got Saturn out, and you're doing it, hey, I'll bring you on. I mean, that would be really cool. Same thing with you, Chris. I would love for you to come on. And then not only would I have mine, but you would have yours. And we can actually get the sky from different parts. Now, Chris, if you mind me asking, where are you from? Because I know, Gary, you're from Arizona. James, you're from Australia. Emil, can't forget about you, too. I know you were lurking earlier. Emil, do you do any night sky viewing or any astrophotography? Exactly. Isolate together. That's the best way to do it. Based out of North Florida. So we literally could cover a lot of ground, which would be phenomenal. And, well, you're from Seattle. I think what we might do is the next stream, I'd like to have a few of you guys on. And I know, people are gun shy, people are, you know, they're shy. I get it, I understand. But I'd love to get somebody on while I'm on. And if it's clear, all the better. Well, James, why not now, you know? I posted my information up on there too, so if there's a certain platform that you guys use, whether it's Skype, Discord, Zoom, apparently Zoom is like the new biggest thing now. I just heard about it within the last like few months. This thing just came out of nowhere, and apparently you can use it for conference calls. So I put my name up on there, so I added myself on there, which is nice. Well, the best way to do it for you is go and get... Well, first you have to make sure you're wired. Do not do Wi-Fi. If you do Wi-Fi, it is not going to work. Check your internet connection by doing a speed test. See where you are for your speed test. What you need is, if you're going to be streaming, you have to do... And Jello actually helped me. More Jello helped me 2 years ago with getting streaming and getting everything just right. Is it's not your download speed, it's your upload speed. And the faster your upload speed, the better you're going to have for streaming. The next thing is you got to get one of the top Cat 8 cables that you can possibly find. This Cat 8 cable that I'm using here is about $40. But it works. It's a 50-foot cable. I went from having a cheap 100-foot cable that kept cutting in and out to a Cat 8, and it's been like a dream. Other thing when you're streaming, I've also found out over the last couple weeks, is when you start your stream, reset your internet. Don't start from scratch. Because what happens is if you start it, it'll get bogged down. It's kind of like when you kink a hose. and then wait like forever and then let it go. It's going to take forever to catch up. I was noticing that. So in the beginning, I'd be like 3, 4, 5 minutes behind. And then after about 8 minutes, it finally caught up. So, yeah, probably start, okay, bring Doc. Bring him in. I would love to. He's from Edmonton. That would be phenomenal. I've never met him before. So definitely message him. Let him know. Let him know that I'm available. Knowing the free processing program. We all do. I have Deep Sky Stacker. I have Registax. Registax is a great program for planetary. So definitely use Registax because it's amazing. And you can use that for the moon. You can use that for Venus. You can use it for Saturn. However you want to do it. And then he's supposed to using Next Image 10. I would love to see with Next Image 10. And on PixInsight, yeah. PixInsight is very expensive. I use Photoshop. I don't have the money for PixInsight yet. But I do hear that PixInsight is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the DBE, which is the Dynamic Background Extraction. And James, you're 40 up and 800 down. That is right around where I'm at. I'm about 43, 44 is what I'm normally getting for download speed. Velocity third world internet connection. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely. You know my channel, Gary. You most certainly can send it off to him, and I would love to get in contact with him. And you could. I mean, it would be a lot better. I mean, I know that when I started with the dual, and you could do dual PC streaming too, which is nice. And that's part of the other thing too, is I can run one computer running all my programs, cameras, planetary, everything, all in the background. And then I have the second computer that runs just for streaming and music. That's it. So, like right now on the Astro computer, I'm at 36% CPU. And then for the streaming computer, I'm at 28. So, not bad. But if I were to do, say, for both of them, well, then it's going to be a little tough. Auto Stacker's another good one. There's tons of programs out there that are free, that are just absolutely amazing. And it just takes a lot. With PixInsight, it took me a long time to figure it all out because it's all different functions you have to type in. So it's a little tougher. But I'm here for you guys. That's the best part. And I'm sure I'm going to learn stuff from you guys that I haven't even learned yet. Because it's an evolving hobby. There's always things happening. James, my email address... Oh, you're looking for Emil's email address. Well, my email address is on there. That's my Zoom is my email. And if anybody else is on, don't be shy. Ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. Exactly. That is by far the best way to do it, is to have two laptops running at the same time. And then what you do is when you have OBS, OBS is a broadcasting program, and then you mirror the image from one to the other by using an NDI plugin. So that's what I'm doing here, is I get it all set up on one. So like I can go on the Astro computer, and I have different scenes. So this is my intro scene. So when I first come on, this is the intro. Then I have the deep sky stacker scene. That's what this one is. And I have it split to different windows. So what you see is completely different. Of course, naturally, when you're looking at a deep sky stacker, you're going to see it all in one window, but I split it into different windows. Photoshop, same thing. So if I were to click Photoshop, you'll have it all there. Long exposure, this is my long exposure one. Then I have my meade one, but that's messed up right now because the meade camera's not on right now. And the deep sky stacker light, this is what I was using when I was getting the Comet. But when I open the program, it's all called window capture. But it's all there. So I can switch between different scenes while I'm going through. So as long as you have the program up running in the background, then there's no problems at all. Well, and the other thing too, James, is you can get a free trial, which is nice. You can try out the trial. The only thing is that it's IP address. So that'll be the only thing, is that once the trial's over, you go to a different computer, you'd have to go to a different house or something. But that's really the only difference. But in my opinion, I think PixInsight is better than Photoshop by far. It just takes more time and it's more expensive. But I love the interactive. I like this. The fact that you guys are... It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got 9 people on, which is great. Ask me questions. Let me know. Don't be afraid. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, definitely give it another try. I mean, it is an amazing program. It's just super expensive. And those are all good programs. Deep Sky Stacker, Lightroom, and Photoshop. They're all amazing programs. I've used Lightroom a couple times, and it's not too bad. And James, not James, Gary, no problem. We're going to be on for just a few more minutes and we're out of here. Exactly. So Ron, make sure that you are investing the correct way. Now, good news is what you can do is when you're looking for new equipment, go to cloudynights.com. Okay? Cloudy Nights is a great classified section that you can use for secondhand equipment. Get, for almost a third of or 3/4 the price of what you pay brand new. So, if you're looking for an AVX, or you're looking for a better mount, go to Cloudy Nights and see what you can find. Now, you could also sell what you currently have and use that money towards the new one. So that would probably be your best. And it is a good idea, because that's what I've been doing for 7.5 years. By the way, we are only 2.5 weeks away from me, personally, doing astronomy. For 8 years. It was 2012 is when I started. May 6th is when I started doing astronomy. That's when I got my first ever telescope. Back in 2012, it was a Meade ETX 90, little tabletop telescope that I used. had a little Kodak little picture, what is it, first shoot, whatever it is. And then I used what's called the Orion Steady Pix, is what it's called. And you got your eyepiece. You know, I went to a local astronomy store. Yeah, actually, they have local astronomy stores. Who knew? There was a local astronomy store called Continental Camera. And went in there, and they had, you know, a Celestron eyepiece set, where you get your 20 millimeter, your 16 millimeter, 14, your 12, your 10, your 6, different millimeter eyepieces that you can put in there, and then just looking through Saturn. So May of 2012 was the very first time that I looked at Saturn. I looked at Jupiter, and it had little filters. So it was just amazing to look at that stuff. And then I would put the little Orion Steady Pix right on there. And then you would look, and then you would get it all set up. And it's really cool how it does it. It's got like the little knobs, and you can get it all set up, and then goes in and out so that you can get it into focus, and then hit the picture, and you can take like a 3-second exposure. It was just so cool. Yeah, Amanda has done it for 2 years. So you've had your station as long as I've been doing astronomy, which is really cool. Which is absolutely amazing. It's been an interesting journey for myself since 2012. When I went for the meade TX90, it was a blue one. It was motorized, and it was computer, and it was really, really cool. I decided that I wanted to get something that would be, you know, tracking. So I went with, well, was it a CG4, which I thought was really cool, and I thought, yeah, let's give it a shot. Well, the CG4 is a manual, so that's the only problem, is that it's not computerized. And I got a 6-inch reflector, which was really cool, but you had to buy the worm gears. You had to buy like the declination and the right ascension. Well, you should be very honored. First person on this planet to actually see those images. James, how come I wasn't the first person? Come on. Come on. That's okay. No big deal. Because the next thing I did was, I was an idiot, and then I decided to sell the CG4 and the 6-inch reflector, and I went with a Dobson. And I was a dummy, and I thought, well, bigger is better, so I went with an 8-inch Dobson. Well, the only problem with that is it didn't track. I don't know what I was thinking. So I've made mistakes. We've all made mistakes in astronomy. Well, he sent it. He sent the email. And hello, Joanne. Welcome. Oh, you didn't have my email. Well, James, my email is right on the front screen. Well, now it is, but it wasn't before. Joanne, how was your Easter? Yep, that's my email. You most certainly can send it to me. Yeah, some mistakes? I've made a ton. I've made a ton of mistakes. Yes, they do. And that's one of the coolest things, is you can get a 10-inch Dob, and you can get, what's it called? Oh, it's like Star Sense, or I think it's like Star Sense, where you type it in. It's got a hand controller, and it's a Dobson, either 8, 10, or 12 inches. And you type it in, and what it'll do is it'll give you arrows, up, down, left, or right. And you have to move the mount until the arrows go away, and then that's when it's going to be right in view for your Dobson. And it tracks, just like it would for anything else. Yeah, 600, well, for what size though, Ron? That's the thing. It's probably for, if I had to take a guess, an 8-inch. Most likely. Let me check my email and see if you sent it to me. Nothing. Not yet. That's okay. Because then after I went to the Dobson, then I went to the CG5. And I had the CG5 for a very, very long time. Well, Chris, the good news about a Dobson is that it provides the best view out of any other telescope. Bar none. I mean, when I was looking at the night sky with the 8-inch, it was phenomenal. The only problem is that you can't track. You can't really do much with it, you know. And then the field of view is so big, it's hard. Just like, Ron, with the 8-inch that you have now. It's hard. Yeah, refractors, I've never gone back. I have my 2 refractors, so if you're just new, the refractors that I have for my scopes, I have a 61mm, it's a William Optics, it's a doublet, and it's an apochromatic refractor. So that's the first one. Second one is an 80mm Zenith Star apochromatic refractor. It's also William Optics. So I have 2 of them, and they sit on each side, one on the left, one on the right. And I have the cameras on both of them. So it's sitting on a dovetail, and I have it turned. So I have it oriented the other way. So I have it pointing west. And you have to go into the actual mount and actually type it in to say, okay, OTA orientation west. And it will. Once you get the new mount, you shouldn't have any problems at all. And I'll be able to help you. I'll be more than happy to help you to get you all polar line and get you all figured out. So we could always do a Zoom call and when it's nice out. When you don't have 14 inches of snow on the ground. I mean, seriously, 14 inches of snow and it's April. Now, the cameras that I have is, I have a QHY9. That's my colored camera. Okay. And then I have a Meade DSI-4. And that's a monochrome camera. So I have both of those running, and they're both pointing at the same direction. And then for guiding, the guide scope is a Meade 8x50. Okay, so it's a little guide scope. It's no bigger than like 9 inches, and it's, you know, it's really small. You can pick it up on eBay, cloudy nights. Really go anywhere for it. I wouldn't. Ron, I wouldn't go with the CG5. I wouldn't do it. The payload on the CG5 would not be able to hold that scope. The payload on the CG5 is about 20 to 23 pounds. And then would have to include cameras, guide scopes, the scope itself. There's just no way. Yeah, you could. If you wanted to. The only problem is, though, is you'd want something that is on the smaller side, because the camera that I use for my guide scope is another Meade DSI. It's the DSI Pro, and it's a monochrome. Yeah, you need 30 plus, and that's what the AVX will give you. That's, you know, AVX is pushing it for more like 28, 29 pounds for the AVX. And then the C-Gem is like 35 pounds. Yeah, AVX is probably your best bet, Ron. By far. That will handle it without a doubt. So I'm loving this. I'm loving this interaction. It's great. People are asking questions, and that's what it's all about. Loving it. Oh, well, it's a 90 millimeter. Oh, man, it's Nexudov. It's a Cassegrain. I wouldn't use that as a guide scope. You'd be better off just getting just a small little guide scope. Again, they're super, super, super cheap. Actually, I can find one for you. I'd be more than happy to find one. And then I can send you the link. And let me see. Let me see. Oh, I thought you left. We have a lot of people on now. We have like 12. Well, we had 12. I don't know what we have on now.
Can I say goodnight to everyone?
Yes, of course. Okay. Because what we're having an interactive stream. People are asking questions and Daddy's answering them.
Like.
They're typing.
Okay.
Yeah, they're typing. No one's calling in. I know. Wouldn't that be cool if people could call in?
Yeah, and then like just talk and see what their voices are.
Well, next stream I plan on doing that.
Oh, yay! Is
Yeah,
that
so-
tomorrow?
Maybe.
It's clear?
Well, it's not gonna be clear for a while. Yeah, not gonna be clear
We
for.
can just do that instead of like showing. We can do that like an interact like that. And
Yeah.
everybody can talk.
That we could.
You said Nick would be on.
He has not shown up. Let me text him.
Nicky.
Joe showed up for a little bit.
Jojo. Yeah, Jojo.
Yeah, it's not JoJo.
Jojo. Well, it said it's Jojo. He said his name is Joe, so like in Jojo.
I know you have to say it. You have to say goodnight to everyone.
No. Okay, who's on?
All right, so we got.
Good
Now,
night, Kimmy.
Kimmy says hi, Mackenzie, and
Good night.
she spelled your name right. Look at that.
Yay. Who's else?
And then we got Ron.
Good night, Ron.
Ron said, what does this say?
Happy Easter, Kenzie.
Aw.
Spell my nickname.
And no, he spelled it right.
Oh, I know I said nickname. I said he spelled my nickname.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, DJ Kenzie. You remember DJ Kenzie? Remember you used to do the radio show?
I already missed him.
You missed that. Well, guess what? We might have to do that
I
sometime.
remember I did the whole Kids Bop thing. Now we can do this new Kids Bop one.
Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to do the Kids Bop.
There's a new Kids Bop one and there's a Dance Monkey. That's like the first one.
Well, then I guess we might have to do that sometime.
Yeah, I missed that. That was my favorite.
That was your favorite?
Who typed that?
So,
Oh, Ron.
yeah, Ron, and then Kimmy says, Kim Kardashian's in the house, as Mackenzie would say. Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, I always say that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
There's Kim E and there's Kim. I know Kim and now I know Kim E.
And do you remember, Joanne says JoJo is a crow.
Oh.
Well, it's Joanne. Joanne.
I know Jojo Siwa.
Yeah, there is a JoJo Siwa. You're very right.
Well, Siwa. You can just Siwa.
Now,
Siwa.
Ron's...
I have to go by.
Oh, hold on.
I had to go to bed.
Well, no, hang
I
on.
have to go to bed.
I know you gotta go to bed, but Ron's... hang on. Where are you going? Apparently she's gotta go to bed. She's gotta go to bed. And to go back, Astro Game Channel, you said that the CGEM mount is a good mount, but a little pricier. It is on the pricier side. And the AVX mount is a breeze to set up, and it really is. Once you get it all set up and everything, it remembers everything, and you don't have to worry about it. Oh, it was a book. Okay, that's why. Okay. And she's a very smart girl. And then she'd also give nicknames. Yes, I do remember that. So we're gonna go on for about 4 more minutes, and then we're gonna call it a night because she's got to go to bed, and I want to at least relax a little bit. Streamed 10.5 hours in 2 days. We streamed 37 hours in 4 days, 4.5 days. So we streamed a ton. But hey, it's amazing. It's good. And we've gotten some great things too on top of that. And Ron, what we're gonna do is, I'd say either tomorrow or Tuesday, one of these 2 days, I want to zoom out with a test stream during the day. I just want to make sure. So Ron asks a question. So when you align the AVX, just align with the North Star. So what you do is, for anybody that's new out there that is just starting with astronomy, is when you get the mount for the very first time and you're excited and you want to know, well, how do I do it? Where do I go? What do I have to do? On the mount, there is a hole. Okay, and that's where the polar scope goes. Okay, some mounts have polar scopes, some mounts don't. You can pick them up on Amazon or eBay or anything for about $50 to $60. Not that much. And what the polar scope does is it gives you a little reticle. It gives you a little circle. Okay, and it has Polaris in that circle. And then up at the top right, it'll have the Big Dipper, and at the bottom left, you'll have Cassiopeia, because those are the two constellations that go around Polaris on a consistent basis. Okay? Now, for James, it's a little bit different with you because you have the Southern Cross. We're not going to go in with that, but that's a little bit different because he has the southern pole star. So you have the polar scope, and Chris, you're right, you're exactly right, is you look for Polaris in the night sky, and it's very easy to find. It's, +1 to +2 magnitude. It's fairly bright. You look through the polar scope, and you move the mount to where it is as close to north as possible. Then what you do, and actually what I'll do here, is I will pull up Stellarium again. Where is Stellarium? Oh, here it is. Oh, that's me. There it is. Okay, so here's Stellarium. Alright. We're going to zoom out. Too much. Alright. So you have the Big Dipper, which is sitting right there. Alright. And then you have Polaris, which is sitting right here. Alright. We're going to put a grid line on here, so you'll actually see the line. And what grid lines are, this is equatorial. Alright? So here's your equatorial grid line. Okay? The absolute center is what's called the northern celestial pole. Okay? So we're going to zoom in. And you can see how Polaris doesn't actually sit where the northern celestial pole is. Who knew? And you can see that Polaris actually runs around that center portion. So if I were to go and advance it in time, so you can see how it's moving around like that. See how it went all the way down to the bottom. So right now, according to real time, that's where Polaris is sitting. Okay? So now, what it will do is, when you're looking through the polar scope, it's reversed. You ever notice that when you're looking through a glass? Try this sometime, and I'm sure you've seen it online. When you're looking through a glass, write something on a piece of paper. Okay? Fill a glass up. Clear, by the way. Not a cup, but a clear glass. Fill it up with water. Set it in front of you. take those words that you wrote on a piece of paper and put it behind it. Watch what it does. Flips it, reverses it. Same thing here. When you're looking, and this is the mistake that I made when I first started, and I'm sure a lot of you have made this mistake, is that when you're looking at Polaris, you set it to whatever it is on here, and that's wrong. That's why you're guiding or anything. You're drifting. You have to revert it. So where Polaris is right now, you have to follow this line across, and that's where Polaris would be on the polar scope, which is right here. That's where you want it. Does that make sense? And hello, Genghis. And happy Easter to you, Mr. Genghis. Yeah, I think you are Mr. I'm not sure. Mr. and Mrs. Another question. After this, can I run it with a tablet? Well, you can. You can run it with your tablet through Sky Safari or Sky-Fi. Either one. Sky Safari is the best one that you can use, and again, this is all based on opinion. Okay, there's a lot of other ones out there, but there's a lot of programs. Sky Safari would be your best bet. You get a Sky-Fi, it's called Sky-Fi 3, and it runs its own little hotspot. You put it right on the mount, it creates a network, you go to your tablet, you pull up Sky Safari, you hit connect, and it will actually connect it to your scope, and you can control your scope through your tablet. So you can always do that. What I do is I run it through ASCOM, ASCOM. It's ASCOM Astronomy. And you can run it through a different COM, which is like a different port, like USB. And then you have to download the Celestron driver, and that's why I can actually control it through my program, whether it be Stellarium, which is a free program that you can use, or you can use Starry Night Pro Plus 7, which you have to pay for. I got it on discount because I went to NEAF, which is the Northeastern Astronomy Forum, 3 years ago. And went there, met the developer, met all that. It was just an amazing time to go there, and it was Curian. Curian is the guy who made that's curriculum simulations, I think, or simulation curriculum is who made the Starry Night Pro Plus 7, and now they have Starry Night Pro Plus 8. They just came out with that. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot to learn, it's a lot to know, but that's what I'm here for. And Kimmy says, "Big diaper." That's funny. Treat his kids well. In Gigas, you just missed it. My kid was on earlier, and then happened. Yeah, and Chris, it happened with you, and it happened with me. And has it ever happened with you? And I'm sure this happened to you too. You forget to take off the lens cap. Raise your hand if that's happened to you. That's happened to me quite a few times where I didn't take the lens cap off of it, and I'm ready to image, and I'm hitting the button, and I'm like, why am I not seeing any stars? Keep looking back, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, am I out of focus or something? And then you go back there and find out that the cap's still on the telescope. Been there, done that, many times. Because it's happened. So yeah. So Ron, that's how you do it to get it. And then once you're aligned with that, then you can actually go to your hand controller. No, they weren't giving me an ample slices this time. I know, it's upsetting. I was waiting for one. Then you go to your hand controller, and it will say move mount to, home position. It's very easy. Pointing north. Very simple. And there's going to be markers on the actual mount. And you get it all set up. Then it's going to ask for your date. Make sure your date is correct. Make sure that your location is correct. So you have to do your longitude and latitude. Make sure your time zone is correct. So you got to make sure that that's all right. Then once you get that all done, then it's going to ask you for getting it all set up for the 2-star alignment. And that's where the next thing comes in. And I'll share this and then we'll head on out of here. But the best way I would suggest for you, Ron, to do is, I'm sure it has a little finder, like a little finder scope, or a red dot reticle. I'm sure you probably have that, the little reticle where you bend over and you're looking and you're trying to see if it's right on there, and you move the mount while you're looking through that, or God forbid that you have to look through a little finder scope. Best way to do it, and you've seen it on plenty of my streams, is get another camera. I know. Wonder where all my cameras are. I mean, I have six cameras on my wonderful mount. I wonder why I have a 7-port hub, because there's so many of them. But one of the cameras that I use is another DSI. I'm just going to make Meade rich. Because I have another one, and this is a monochrome. Yeah, you have a red dot. See, that's what I figured. But it's a pain in the butt, isn't it? It's such a pain to move and to get it and crick your neck. And then what happens if you're trying to look at Capella, or if you're trying to look at Sirius, or Procyon, or Vega, or Deneb, or Sirius, or Satyr? It would just be so hard to do, especially when you want to get everything. So your best bet is to get another camera, and this is how I do it, and I think this has worked out so amazing. You would get a Meade DSI camera, and people are selling them by the lot, by the way. I was on eBay earlier this afternoon, and I saw there was somebody was selling 4 of them, which is crazy, for like $200. $40 a pop. I mean, how amazing is that? So you get a Meade DSI camera. Now it has the M42 threads, so you could use it as a planetary camera if you really wanted to. But go back on the store, go back on the internet, and find what's called a lens. Okay, a camera lens. Now, it's not an ordinary camera lens. It's going to be one of the lenses that has an M42 thread on the back. I know this is crazy. Are we going for live shots tonight? Unless you want to see clouds. Which is not going to work. But you get a monochrome DSI. Get the lens. And the lens that I have is, if I remember correctly, it's a 52mm lens. And it's got the threads in the back. Screw it in. So now you have the camera and a lens. And then you get a bracket. A ring bracket. And you go to the hardware store and get little screws. And you screw it in to move it left, right, up, down to get it centered just right. And if you get that centered, that serves it as your red dot finder. Then you can use your computer to do the reticle, and you can move the mount to wherever you want, and it just takes out all the hassle. And Ron, you have a DSLR. Don't use a DSLR as your finder. Don't. Because with the Meade DSI, it's running at a continuous rate. You could do 0.01 seconds to 15 seconds. And with monochrome, it is more sensitive to the sky. We've seen it. We've seen it on many streams where I could actually see nebula on that finder. Like, I've seen the Pelican. I've seen North American Nebula. I've seen the Dumbbell. I've seen Whirlpool. The Eagle. I've seen all of them in the finder where you don't even need to look. It's right there. If you do a 15-second exposure and it's dark enough with no moon, you can actually see it, and it's phenomenal. Yeah, and we're not going for live shots. The sky is absolutely atrocious. We're supposed to be getting a nasty storm, so if you guys were on Bill's channel earlier this afternoon, showed that there was a storm running through Mississippi and Omaha. All of those, it's moving up this way, and we should be getting wind about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, and it's going to be nasty. We're supposed to get between 70 to 80 mile an hour gusts. And you want a link for that? I most certainly can get that for you. Here, I'll pull it up for you. This stream has been very educational. Yeah, I'm going to share this with you. Copy. Okay, and paste. Okay, so Ron, I just shared that with you. This is the guide scope with a bracket. Okay? But that would be something that you would get for your guide scope. Okay? And then you would just put a DSI on the back of it. And you do want to do it right. And you want to know what? You are going to do it right. I got your back, Ron. I got your back. Don't you worry. Yeah, and it's coming this way, which is pretty crazy. Now, the next one you want to know about the DSI. Just gotta find it. The one that was like, that was like selling like a whole bunch, unless it was on cloudy nights. Snow, Ron, snow. I'm trying to look for it. Hang on. I'll pull that up. I think it was on cloudy nights. I'm pretty sure, because I was looking at it this afternoon. Here it is. Oh, it's untested. Oh, never mind. I'll share it anyways, why not? Got 20 inches of snow today. Almost got clear skies. The rest of the world is 70 degrees. It was 60 here today, which was nice. Alright, so Ron, I sent that out to you. Now that one is on cloudy nights, but that one is a lot of them. A lot of 4. But they're for parts. Unfortunately. But that's the camera that you would get because it has an M42 thread. Now the sensor is extremely small. Yeah, but that's the reason why it's only $25 a piece, because they don't work. But that's the camera you would get. Now, DSI, I'm trying to see if they have just one available. Yeah, here's one. It was for $50, but it's sold. Here's another one, but it's sold again. So they're around. You can get them. Check eBay. You can always check eBay too. But they're there. That's your best bet. Yes, so the camera would go on the back of the scope, and in the front of that guide scope, you could turn. So you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to turn it for focus. Okay? So it'll be mounted to your telescope. You'll have that, okay? That will go to your computer, okay? Now, here's the crazy part. Now, there's, again, I'm going to put this as easy as possible. It's all about opinion. Okay? This is about opinion. Other people do things differently, and that's fine. So one person may do one thing, another person may do something another way, and that's fine. The way that I do it, and that I've been doing it since day one of tracking, is I have what's called a GPUSB. I know we're throwing letters out like crazy. It is just nuts up in here. So what GPUSB is, I have that plugged into the guider port on the mount. Okay? It runs into a little box, and then it turns into a USB. Okay? That USB goes into the computer. Alright? The other port goes from the camera. Now, I know there's guide scopes out there. I know. There's guide scopes out there that actually have a port that you can use. Yes, that's my email. It's wrong. E-L-L-I-S. That's my email. Yeah, between me and Mark, you'll have it figured out. Don't you worry. And again, there's no right or wrong way of doing things. You know, if you wanted to do it, I'm sure there's packages out there or kits that you can get that is an actual guide scope kit and actually has a USB that actually goes in and actually runs as an actual guider. But I've always learned, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe that's why I've had such good guiding, is because of the way that I've been doing it. I don't know. I mean, I've been running guiding at like 0.14, 0.15 forever. I can get a 30-minute image and not have any problems at all for guiding. So, GPUSB is what it's called. It's called shoestring astronomy. And this is stuff that I've taken with me since the day I started tracking. And again, it's all about the mistakes and research. Research is key. I'm always reading stuff. Always reading stuff. This is... I want to give you the link for that. And James, that's okay. That is my email. It's 2 L's, 2 T's, ASTRONOMY at hotmail.com. Yeah, that's my email. Yeah, and you don't need to. You don't need to. I didn't... Here's the thing, Ron. I didn't do live streaming until 2016. So from 2013 to 2016, I never did live streaming. I just made mistakes, learned from them, talked to people, went to star parties, joined an astronomy group, emailed people on a consistent basis, built that rapport up with other people, and you got to that point where you say, wow, you know what? Everything's going well now. Everything's good now. And you're always learning. You're always figuring things out. But that link there, that's what's called GPUSB. That's your shoestring astronomy. Again, that's going to go through your guide port. You're going to notice on your mount, it's going to have a guide port, and it's also going to have an auxiliary. Your guide port's it's like a phone cable. It's going to click in, then it's going to go into a little box, and it's going to have like a little light on top of it. And then it's on the other side, it's going to be USB. You plug that in. Then when you go to PhD, which PhD is going to be your guide. Again, this is going farther ahead, and this is advanced, but at least I'm going to let you know how it works and how I do it. Is that when you go to PhD, and here's what I'll do. I'll show you. I will show you what PhD is. I'll go to long exposure. Okay. I'll flip it. This is educational at the same time. Okay. I'll pull up PhD. It's short for Push Here Dummy, just to let you know. Alright, so... Alright, so what I'm going to do is you're going to see... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something even better for you. Here. We're going to do a window capture. Alright, give me a second, because what I'm going to do... How come my display capture doesn't work? It's me. What's that? Because I want to show everybody the... Oh, no wait, that's not what I want. Okay, we'll do it this way. Because I wanted to show what it has. Huh, can't find it. Well, okay, so what ultimately what it just does is, I don't mean to waste any more time, is that you can pick the cameras that you want. So when you download the PhD, it will tell you what camera do you have, whether it's a DSI, or if it's an Orion Starshoot, or if it's just any camera at all that you have. If it doesn't show up on that list, it's called a WDM. Okay, a WDM is a camera that's not listed in its actual program, like a Microsoft LifeCam, or if you have like a what is it, a webcam on your computer, same thing. Okay, that's what you would use for WDM. Then below that, it's going to tell you what kind of like mount do you have. So it's going to say what mount. Well, you can either have an ASCOM, or Celestron, like a driver, or a G-Pint, or an on-AO, which is an on-axis. On-axis means like if you have an actual camera that can do guiding with it. Again, this is going far, far in advance, but letting you know how everyone does it. Okay? That would be your mount. And then if you have an auxiliary would just mean, again, if you have a secondary thing on there. Okay? Which is really cool. And then you would hit connect, and then it would go right to that. So that screen that you see up there, so I'll pull it here for my long exposure, which is right there. So for the long exposure here, that's where you see all the bullseye, the green little hash lines, and then the RMS error, okay? And then the graph, okay? So the graph is the most important thing, is that's where it is for guiding, okay? I know I've ranted a little bit on that. You've tried 5 times, copy and pasted, and typed it in. No good. Well, here's what I'll do. Go to my email here. We can try. Here, try another email. You could try this one. Try that one. So that one can work too. Well, I forgot the Y. Oh, jeez. I butchered it. Here, let me type it on my phone. There we go. That's better. There we go. That's better. And Ron, it is nice. We'll get you up and running, Ron. Don't you worry. We'll get you up and running. And James, if you ever need anything, same thing with Astro Game Channel, Genghis Khan, Amel, if you need anything, that's what I'm here for. I post my stuff up on here for a reason. I mean, I'll even put my Facebook up on here, and I'll even put my Twitter contact. You know what? That's what I'll do right now. I'm not afraid. Here, I'll put everything up here. Friend me. I mean, that's the most important thing. Yeah, definitely forward it and see, because I still have no idea why it's not working. Okay, so there's... Alright, so that's me on Facebook. That's right, social distancing, right? And then next one is Twitter. So then we're going to do Twitter. Whoa, that's big. Twitter. Eventually I'll make this all nice and pretty with like logos and everything. It'll be really cool. And that's my Twitter. So there's no A. And then Instagram. Yes, I'm on Instagram too. Who knew? And I'm putting on my Instagram also. Okay, that's my Instagram. Oh, Amo's now following me on Twitter. There you go. So now everything is on there. Got it to go at the 86 email. Oh, good. Okay, so the 83. Okay, well done. See if you got it. Okay, let me check. Checking now. Still nothing yet. Still waiting. Let me check the spam email. Let me check. Nothing yet. Oh, there it is. It finally came through. All right. 5 files are attached. I see all 5. They're loading right now. Oh my god. That is sick. There's nothing to be ashamed for that. Oh my. Oh, wow. That's insanity. You should be proud, James. You should be proud for those images. Oh boy. That is incredible. That's amazing. Emil, I just followed you back. Who's coming from down under? And Uncle Bill is on. Where he is everyone's uncle. Yeah, James, you should definitely post it on social media because that is absolutely incredible. It's better than any other Jupiter I have ever taken. Ever. Yeah, so Ron, you could get those images. That's what it's all about. It's amazing. I like that last one you sent me. The last one is incredible. The detail. Crazy James. So we're definitely having a great night tonight. I am absolutely honored to have everyone on here like this and answer questions that you guys have, as it's more of like an interactive. And then I'm gonna get the calls and everything all set up here and get this all ready. We'll have a switchboard and we'll get all that stuff, and I'll work on that. We'll get it all taken care of. So you're on a border light of 8. Not saying, well, I can imagine. 8. Okay, so 8. Black is 1. Gray is 2. Blue is 3. Green is 4. Yellow is 5. Orange is 6. Red is 7. White is 8. So are you in the 8? Would have to be. I love it. James, I think it's an absolutely phenomenal image. I really do. You should definitely be proud of that. You should definitely post it on social media. And a lot of people are, I mean, I've seen a lot of Jupiter images. I mean, planetary was never one of my greatest things. Probably because of the fact that it was so hard to do. And the moon was the easiest, in my opinion. But other than that, I couldn't really do much. But yeah, definitely. You did an absolutely phenomenal job. And I'm not going to share them without your consent. And I would never do that. I would never just not put it on the internet or anything like that without your consent. I mean, what is your image is yours, and you share them when you're ready. But with an 8-inch like that, when Mars is at its closest approach, you could definitely, you could get Mars with the polar caps. You can get Saturn with the rings. You could get, I mean, you could easily get Venus with the crescent. Easily. I mean, when Venus has been this bright over the last month and a half, you could easily get Venus. And if you do what is it? It's not infrared, but it's UV. You can get a UV filter. You would definitely get it. You want me to share it? Okay. Here's what I will do then. It's only only for you. So let me pull it up. Pulling it up now. Loading the Gmail. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Alright, now we're going to save the images. Yeah, Ron, I'm not that kind of person. You know that. You know I would never ever take credit for someone else's image ever. I'm never that person. Okay, save number 2. Alright, you even got the great red spot on there too, which is amazing. Now, James, what you could also do, which would be really, really, really cool, is make sure you get a planetary program, and definitely get like occultations, or where the moon would the moon of Jupiter would go in front of it, whether it's Io, Ganymede, any of those, Callisto, any of them. I think that would be super, super cool. Alright, so now we have saved it. So now we're going to go to downloads. I think I saved one of them twice. That's okay. Alright, it's loading. Loading! Trying to work on it. It's trying to upload the images because I saved them. Yeah, it's buffering because I'm trying to download the images. That's why. Well, I was gonna show those images. I think Jupiter crashed the image. Yeah, it looks like we're stuck. All right, well, pretty much gonna call it a night. But I think it was an absolutely phenomenal night. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. Went on for about 2.5 hours, which is awesome, which is great. Just the end here with Jupiter kind of messed this up, but that's okay. That's all right. No big deal. No big deal. So we're gonna end this stream. Yeah, we're good. So I want to thank everyone for watching. And James, with your permission, I would like to post that with your name on it, and then tag you, or however you want to do it. If you want to share it, just share it. Just share it on your platform and tag us. Because I'm trying to pull it up, and the internet is just... I got an idea here. Let's try that and see what happens with that.